shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like life, I'll rise.
I refuse to accept the view that...
Fix that. Testing 1, 2. Hello, and welcome to the Black News Beat. I am your host, Dr. Kimeka Campbell. Yay! We are here. We are actually off-site, if you can't tell. We are in a different place, and so we're really excited to hang out with you guys tonight via our virtual platform. You know, we're kind of used to going live virtually, so this is a really nice kind of like ode back to how we started. And also, it's the holidays, so we're spending with our families, and we're very excited about that. And so we're just going to have a good night. We have some really great guests for you guys tonight. But before we jump into our guests, I just want to say joyous Kwanzaa. Happy Kwanzaa, everybody. We are on Kwanzaa Day 3, and the principle for today is Ujima, which is my favorite principle, which is collective work and responsibility. So I'm glad that we have that principle. So just to read a little bit about it. So of course, if you guys don't know, Kwanzaa has 7 days, and it is 7 days of just excellent reflection that kind of lead into the new year. You celebrate Kwanzaa from the 26th until the 1st, and you also celebrate Kwanzaa with lighting a kinara that has 7 candles, and you light the middle candle first. And the first principle was Umoja, and the second principle was Kujikajalia. That's Basir's favorite principle. And today is Ujima. So Ujima talks about collective work and responsibility. The definition of Ujima is collective work and responsibility. When considering this principle, focus on how everyone can work together to build the community around them in the pursuit of a common interest. This is something that I think goes really hand in hand with all the other principles leading up until now. For the first day of Kwanzaa, I talked about, and by the way, I'm doing some videos online. So check those out. Every day I'll have a different video for Kwanzaa. I'll do one later tonight. And it just kind of talks about just how I'm reflecting on Kwanzaa this year, what I'm taking into the new year, right? Because Kwanzaa ends on the new year, and it's just a great way to kind of bring in the new year. So on day 1, we talked about Umoja, and Umoja is the word unity. Kujikajalia is self-determination, and now we're on Kujichagulia is self-determination. And now we're on the 3rd day, which is Ujima, which is collective work and responsibility. So for me, all the principles are flowing together nicely. They are really actually, they relate to one another. And collective work and responsibility, I'll tell this story probably every year. But my story this year for collective work and responsibility is all the amazing work we did around Juneteenth. So for Juneteenth, we had over 3,000 people come together, and it was no accident. There were 40 different organizations, over 60 different sponsors, a little over 100 collective entities coming together, having an economic impact of nearly almost $500,000 right here in the greater Harrisburg area. And we couldn't have done that if we weren't able to unite around a common goal. And what I love about the story of Juneteenth 2022, Juneteenth HBG 2022, is that we all came together for this amazing goal, and we were able to meet that goal really just amazingly. So I'm very happy about that. We have a great show tonight. We also have I have a co-host slash what do you want to call yourself today? Are you the co-host?
I'm co-host slash
engineering. Yep, it's Basir. So co-host slash engineering slash making sure everything goes right over there. So I'm really happy that, of course, to have Basir helping. And we're actually in his home of Plainfield, New Jersey, and we are hanging out for the new year. And for the holiday. So welcome to Basir's mom's and dad's basement. So we're really excited to be here. We have some really nice art on the back wall. That's nice to see. Yep, there we go. And the basement, one thing about Basir's family is they are very, very Afrocentric, and his mom has built an amazing library and home on the history, Black and Brown history in the United States. So, and she's also a big proponent of all the principles of Kwanzaa and different things like that. So, yeah. So I'm really happy that I get to, kind of be a part of that whole thing as well. So we have some great guests. Oh, by the way, how was you guys' Christmas? Ours was great. We got to open presents. We got to eat really good food. And then we also got to see friends. And I think that's what, spend time with family, see some good friends. And I think that's what it's all about. So I'm glad that we all kind of get to hang together. And I consider you guys my friends too. So I'm glad that you guys are here. I see people are popping in. And since we're live, don't forget to share the stream. I'm going to take a moment on the commercial break to share the screen and make sure that everyone gets to see us tonight. Hey, Marquise, what's up, friend? I love when my friends pop in. Shout out to the Luptons. Shout out to their all the amazing work they're doing in the community. If you guys didn't know, did you guys recognize a new voice on WITF recently? Well, that is Mr. Marquise Lupton. He has been doing different segments and bringing us, different news and things from across the region. And so we're so excited to have him here, commuting from Lancaster to come and, serve our community here and serve the wider region. And nobody more deserving, in my opinion. So it's wonderful to have him in the region. Shout out to you. And we just have, we have a lot of different kind of great people that I think we want to get to know. I've already sent in a request to him to go and visit him at WITF to see how, we can get maybe the Black NewsBeat involved. So I'm really excited that he's here in the area. So shout out to the Luptons. Shout out to all my friends over from Lancaster Way. Very excited that you're tuning in. Thank you. So let's get to these. Let's announce the guests, and then we're going to get into sweeping the streets. So tonight we have the illustrious Dr. Schuster. She will be joining us to talk about the MLK Day of Service that is hosted by the Department of Emergency Medicine at Penn State Health. We also have DJ Leroy. Usually she's on the ones and twos, and she will be for this event, but she's also going to come in. She has worked at this event before and is going to come in with Dr. Schuster. And we're just going to have a conversation about what the day's like, what they both do in the community. And this is kind of a mix of a community engagement and a culture and creativity segment. And those will be our guests for tonight. So I'm really excited. We have some things to talk about. We're going to get in here and sweep the streets and kind of talk about some things that have been happening in the news. All right. Well, it has been quite the last couple of weeks, as usual. There's always something going on, right? Like every time we meet, the world is either falling apart or falling apart more. So there is some good news, though. The first thing that we are covering is the story lanes coverage that has been going on with the very interesting court case that involved Megan Thee Stallion as a witness. And he was found guilty AF on all charges. And so what's funny about this story is folks were very much interested in castigating and really vilifying Megan Thee Stallion anew and afresh. Why? Why were y'all doing that? What's the reason? Megan Thee Stallion was a witness. There was actually a young man on Twitter. If you go to my page, you'll see his tweet. He said, "I can't wait until Megan Thee Stallion is found guilty and Tory Story Lames gets to walk free." And I thought that was interesting because one, Megan Thee Stallion is not on trial. That's number one. Two, Story Lanes, people are accusing Megan Thee Stallion of lying about sleeping with him and lying, trying to protect him from the police that night. But they're not talking about the lie he told that he didn't shoot her. Then when the text messages came out and the messages on Instagram, it came out that he was apologizing for what? Shooting her. And for people were like, there was no DNA evidence on the gun, and such and such and such. But if you have a confession, what do y'all think that means? Who's lying? Is he lying about shooting her? Which is worse, lying about shooting her or her lying about not wanting to know people to know that she slept with that troll? Which one? A troll that ended up shooting her. Which do you think is worse? Interesting. So I really think that we need to look at this as, once again, actually we're 2-0 here. Brittany Griner first getting rescued, and then 2, Megan Thee Stallion being vindicated. And actually this man actually going to jail for harming her. I think this is a and I don't have any wood to knock on, but I'm going to cross my fingers. This is a period where I'm hoping folks step more into respecting Black women. And that's something that's really important to me. The next story we have is definitely a sad one. There's been a lot of cold weather happening across the country. In the northern part of the country, it's moving in from the west. We had a crazy storm system that dumped snow all over the Northeast and all over the Midwest. And none other, and Buffalo always gets snow, but they got an inordinate amount of snow. And we are sending love to Andell Taylor's family. Andell was trapped in her car for 18 hours and passed away and froze to death, actually, in the snow, waiting for help. And her family is mourning her. She's a native North Carolinian. And it's one of the sadder stories I've seen around this. But it also tracks with those, and she actually was coming from work, so she was going to help. She worked in a senior citizens home, and she was going to, she was coming back from her job of serving and was trapped in that storm. And the snow kept falling and falling. She had actually sent a video to her family in the group chat, and they saw that it was snowing and she was trapped in the snow and couldn't get home, and didn't hear from her again. And she tried to wait for help instead of going out in the snow and ended up passing away. But this actually is indicative of the fact that those who suffer the most in most of these situations with extreme weather, extreme health conditions, think pandemic, are Black and brown people, especially Black and brown women. They are usually the ones who suffer the brunt of what happens, the catastrophe, the fallout from a lack of disaster preparedness that we seem to have in this country. And so we want to be mindful of that. I want you to have plans, make a plan for if you get stuck in the snow, who you call, the route you take home. If it's snowing hard and you know that you're going to get stuck, especially with the next couple of months coming up, stay in the place where you are. Don't try to venture out. If you know that the route you're taking home is going to be difficult to navigate, if you think that you'll have a dead spot on the phone that you can't call anyone, or if you're going to get stuck. Those are 3 things that people never think are going to happen to them. It's happened to me. I was coming from State College one time, and I spun out on the road, and I waited 40 minutes for someone to come. It wasn't 18 hours, but it was the longest 40 minutes of my life. And I did not have, my phone wasn't charged all the way. The battery almost died in my car, trying to keep myself warm. And I was only there for 40 minutes. Imagine being stuck in your car for 18 hours, and they probably have to guesstimate when she actually passed away. So please be careful in these streets. There's a lot going on. And we really want you guys to take care. Next story we have is actually a really great one. So a couple months ago, it's September to be exact, I had a really excellent guest on my show at the name of Dion Renee. And Dion, her poster for The Woman King grabbed national headlines. And now she's in the news again because she actually got to paint art for an actual real life Woman King. So the story goes a little something like this. She sent her press release. Thank you, Dion, for sending that press release. It's great that that you get to share this with all of us. It's quite amazing. So the press release reads like this. Dion Renee paints her way from the film The Woman King to real life Woman King, Queen Diambi. The film's global marketing campaign led the international fine artist to the unprecedented opportunity to paint for the actual Woman King, Queen Diambi Kabatusuila. On December 20th, the recently released Groundbreaking for Woman King created an opportunity for Dion to meet and create original art for the real-life Woman King. And she is from, Queen Diambi is from the Democratic Republic of Congo and Brazil's Bantu nation. Dion created portraits that captured the essence of the Queen's regal demeanor and spirit. They were presented to Her Majesty during the recent events held by the United Nations Assembly at the City University of New York University, and the New York Women's Foundation. Queen Diambi received the paintings with sincere gratitude and welcomed Dion's pledge to partner in her philanthropic endeavors. It is an honor to portray such a strong woman in my art, coming off the successful global marketing campaign from the film, and then to meet an actual real-life queen, one whose purpose and mission align with my own, is truly the highlight of my art career, says Dion. In addition to her artistry, Dion is in the process of launching the Dion Renee Studios as well as DRW Advertising, both of which will operate out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania in early 2023. Congratulations, Dion. That is an amazing story. Tell us what you think in the chat. This is so awesome. I'm so glad that you guys get to partake in that. We all get to partake of Dion's expertise and her amazingness right here in Harrisburg. That's some of the most wonderful things that we could do as a community. Celebrate a person who's here doing the great work. So that's very exciting. Now on to my favorite segment. Babe, are you ready for this? You gotta come in the frame for this one, babe. You can't be out of frame for this one. Okay. And let's get that out of there. Yeah, there we go. Oh, there we go. So hi, babe.
Hey.
We're here for Movies and Melanin.
Absolutely.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
How's everything?
I'm doing good.
I heard.
So.
Did you hear?
I heard.
Did you hear?
There's only one thing.
There's one thing we're talking about.
That everyone should be watching.
And that's the only thing we're going to talk about tonight.
And that's it.
And what is it, babe?
It's, first of all, I do not condone adding like certain viewership to being black, but you should have already seen The Best Man.
Yes.
And then The Best Man Holiday.
Yes. And
now we get closure for all of these characters in Best Man, the final chapters.
Best Man, the final chapters. Woo! So now you're saying if you're black, you should have seen it. Is that what you said?
I mean, it's
because we have a friend.
It's classic.
We have a friend.
Why are you putting his business out?
I'm not gonna say his name, but everybody knows. Everybody knows him. He hasn't seen The Best Man. He hasn't seen Best Man Holiday, and now we have to kidnap him. I mean, he's a grown up, so abduct him for a few hours and take him through the whole thing.
First of all, the ensemble.
Ooh, the original.
From the original ensemble.
Yes.
We got Morris Chestnut.
My God.
Taye Diggs.
Yes.
I'm going to mess up his last name. Harold Perrineau.
Yep, Perrineau.
Mm-hmm. And Academy Award winning Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard.
Fantastic. The chemistry between them.
Terrence Howard.
They feel like friends.
Like real life friends.
Like real life friends. Mm-hmm. And then on the other end, Sanaa Lathan.
She was so good.
Nia Long.
She was so good.
Melissa D'Souza. She is good.
And she is the oldest out of the ladies.
Oldest. And then Regina Hall. For those of you who have not watched the original, you got to watch it because her arc is fantastic.
Beautiful. It really comes off well.
And, they add some new others for like spice and
spice it up.
Like Nicole Ari Parker throw herself in here. It's great.
That's a melange of melanin. Okay.
And sometimes like you can't fit things in a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't have done justice. But to make this 8 episodes,
yes.
So 8 hours of just entertainment. It's just funny. It hits some emotional things.
Makes you think.
It's social commentary.
Yeah.
It hits so many different it
really
beats,
does.
Yet stays like at its heart. It's a romantic comedy, but it's a French story of friendship.
Yep.
And then the complicated nature of those friendships.
Yes.
And they have time to they teased it out.
Yeah, they did.
And one thing I can say for
so we have a question here.
Oh.
A must watch, as in we black people should be having Best Man watch party.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
If you have a friend who hasn't seen, like, we're doing parties.
Yes, we are. We're
doing parties.
We're gonna call them best
all
man
year
marathons because we need to see from the first movie to last. And I did it. I've done it. Yep. I did it this week because it was too good not to do. Good. We had to go back and watch the Best Man. Had to go back and watch Best Man Holiday.
I will say, at first watch, because I was such a fan of the original, there was a little bit of disappointment when Best Man Holiday came.
Absolutely.
But then going back and watching it again in sequence, it's good.
It's very good.
And Malcolm D. Lee, fantastic director, writer. The dialogue. Yeah. There is very little wasted dialogue in the entire 14 hours. Yeah. When
very intentional dialogue.
That's such good writing. Yeah. Where when you because in the original, when you watch it again, every line of dialogue, like from the first scene, is setting up the entire story.
I mean, literally.
Like literally,
so I can't. I don't want to give anything away.
Yeah. That's how you.
But
we talk about dialogue.
We had an argument. Not an argument. We were like we were on a different sides of the issue for the movie. I don't want to say what it is because you have to watch and see.
It's about relationships.
It's about relationships. And I said, I said, no, what'd you say?
I said these two characters probably shouldn't have been together.
And I said, no, they gave it a try. Why would you say that? And then I went back.
Watch the series.
And I watched Best Man original again. And I was like, babe, you were right. They should have never got together. And it was so good. It was very satisfying to just have this arc that ended in a way that I think, but there were some critiques, if you could believe it.
Nope.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe it. Do you want to hear this? I'm going to tell you because I'm just like, listen, people are sick of Robin.
What? I mean, yes. We need to have a whole separate.
They called her toxic. Y'all got to go watch it so we can talk about it next time. Next time we're talking about it. So I'm going to give y'all a little time. And then we got to talk about Robin being toxic and why people think that. And I highly disagree. But all right, I disagree.
So every character is flawed. And that's what makes now it's not just a movie. That's what makes this series good. And every character has their flaws, including Robin.
Oh, 100%.
Like, and the flaws are there from the beginning. And it's how the different characters interact. And their flaws, they do this. What's great about it is they evolve, but they're still like, and that's how we are as human beings. Like I always tell people, like, me and Kimeka have had the same fight since
10 years.
Since 2 months after the honeymoon phase. It's like, oh, this is what we're gonna fight about.
Forever.
And it keep it looks different. And that's the Best Man captures that, where it's like their issues, they don't go away magically. It's not like, oh, we're married and now all the issues go away. It's like, oh no, we're in this next phase and the issues look different.
That's right.
And that's good writing.
That's right. And they look different in every phase.
I
still don't think Robin was problematic. But I mean, we'll talk about it next time.
It's the words that people choose. Like, everyone's a problem.
They say
every single
toxic.
Character.
They said she's toxic. But listen, go watch for yourself, and we will come back and reconvene. Absolutely. I have to watch it 3 more times because I want to make sure that I, get a good. I want to soak it in. I want to roll around in it, get cozy because I love it so much. I love it so much. All right. So that is movies. That's all we're talking about.
That's 12 hours of content.
12 hours.
12 hours of content.
12 hours
of
content. Go watch it.
All black.
Listen, do you have the next couple of
black
days off?
Everything.
If you have the next couple of days off, just go sit down and watch that. You don't got to do nothing. Kick your feet up. Make some hot chocolate. Drink some wine. Whatever you do, make a hot toddy sound delicious. Okay? Go ahead and get those and watch that. Black people, and everyone else too, but especially Black people, because guess what this show is for? Black people. Hey, go ahead and watch that. Some of our biggest fans are going to be mad at that.
And
sentence.
watching how they age or not
or
age,
lack thereof aging.
Certain people, like you can see the age in their head, like their head just gets a little bit bigger. Everything else
stays exactly the same.
Stays exactly. Some people just don't look different.
Like that's crazy. My favorite thing was looking up everybody's ages. Did you know that Harold Perrineau, he is 59 years old?
And great. Come a long way since Oz, all my Oz fans.
Yep.
My favorite role, Mercutio in Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, that's right. And that's what Bossier always calls him, Mercutio, no matter what.
Yeah.
The next oldest person was Musa D'Souza. She's 55 years old. Right? Shelby. And the story arc on Shelby, amazing. Beautiful. Let's see who's next. And everybody else is like 53. I think Morris Chestnut is next. He's 53. And then everyone else is 51 and 52. Probably Regina's next in age. Now, the only thing I had a long issue with is that everybody's in their 50s. And some of the people they put to play opposite of these leads were really young in real life. Like the age gap was real. You'll see what I mean when you see the show. And I had a little bit, I was like, can they find somebody like at least like at most 10 years younger? Why not?
It depends. I think the choices were intentional.
All right. So I really liked it. I loved it. Y'all go ahead and watch. Okay. Now we are going into our YPOC updates. So we have had a really great 2022. We've made a lot of different changes. And it's been an interesting little it's been an interesting year. So yeah, it's just been an interesting year. We had a great holiday party. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And I loved it. We had about 30 people come and show up and hang out with us. It was fantastic. DJ Leroy was on the ones and twos. We had a blast. We were dancing. We had drinks. We had games. Dirty Santa was hilarious. But most importantly for me, we collected gifts for 8 different families to have something nice for the holidays. So those are going out. Some of them went out before, and some of them are going out now. And shout out to Elise for helping us organize all that. It was amazing. And before I leave, I want to show you, before we go to the next thing, I wanted to show you Dion Renee's beautiful creation that she did for the real life woman king, Queen Diambe. So hold on one second. Now you're going to go into a little bit of a multiverse problem here, but that's okay. So here was her original painting. This is her original one, which is just beautiful and gorgeous, and I loved it. This is the first one here. I hope you can see that. It was so beautiful. That's what she won. That's what won Woman King. And if you still haven't seen Woman King, go ahead and see that because it's real good. And then this is what she did here for the real life Woman King. Look at that beauty. Oh my goodness. It even looks like her and everything. So beautiful. Deanna is so talented. So I want to make sure we shouted Deanna and showed that because it is absolutely gorgeous. I love it very much. Okay, so now I always go ahead and I say this show is a partnership. The Black News Beat is a partnership between Open Stage and Young Professionals of Color Greater Harrisburg. Always shout out to Open Stage for hosting us, letting us literally learn on our feet, learn as we go to figure out having such an amazing show. And also shout out to Gibby, who's not with us tonight, Stu, to Rachel, to Brianna, to Miss Patty. Miss all of you guys. Hope you guys had an amazing holiday. Love y'all to the moon and back. And I'll see you soon in the new year. So those are my friends over there at Open Stage. Come see us for a live show, right, babe? Come hang out with us for a live show. We have a great time every single time. So come hang out with us. Come just catch a vibe. Shout out to my friend Floyd, who was like, I'm coming tonight. And I was like, we're virtual tonight. Oh, he said, I already picked out my outfit. So shout out to Floyd. I hope you can join us on January 11th as well. So I'll see y'all soon. I'm very excited to get back into the studio. All right, so we also look out for with YPOC for events we'll have coming up in the new year. We'll be doing something for Black History Month. We'll be partnering with folks for MLK Day, sending some volunteers down, and we'll be talking about the MLK Day event coming up. We'll show that commercial right before we get into our guests. So I hope you enjoyed the first segment. We'll be right back right after this. This January, you're invited. Join Penn State Health Department of Emergency Medicine for the Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service 2023. This amazing event will be held on Monday, January 16th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Allison Hill Community Center, located at 1524 Walnut Street in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Need a flu shot? Get one free at the event. You can also learn more about how to stop the spread of COVID-19. And you can take a tour of the Penn State Lion Ambulance, learn safe sleep practices for infants, plus enjoy music by our very own celebrity DJ, DJ Layro, with giveaways and more. More information will be shared on social media, and definitely follow Black News Beat for more updates. We can't wait to see you at this exciting community event. And guess what? It is free and open to the public. So meet us at the Allison Hill Community Center on January 16th, starting at 11 a.m. for MLK Day of Service. See you there. This has been a message from Dr. Angel Schuster, Vice Chair, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and Assistant Professor of Emergency Medicine and Pediatrics. Well, hello. I'm so excited. Oh, is it? Yep. So we are here. We are back. We have some guests coming up that are going to be great. So we have something excellent to do. You saw the commercial. Did you hear my voice? That was me. So we want to talk to you. We want to have the folks here who are going to be working this event come in and talk to us. So come on in, ladies. Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hi, friend.
Hey.
How are you doing?
Doing all right. At home
Good.
in some peace and quiet for once. Since the holiday madness.
Just in case you guys didn't know, we have Layro, DJ Layro, and Dr. Angel Schuster. How you guys doing? Dr. Schuster, what's up?
I'm doing really well. Same thing. I kind of bombarded, locked myself in a room, barricaded, I mean to say. So it's quiet for right now. The kids are on the other side of my father's house. But thank you so much for having me, number one. And thank you for that awesome commercial. Really, really appreciate it. And your voice sounded lovely.
Oh, I thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. I really have fun doing those. I do. So it depends on what a guest wants, like if people need me to do them. But I really like doing little voiceovers, and so the process took forever because I kept starting over because I talk really fast. If you didn't know. So it was just hilarious. I was in the house last night, like jumping up and down, trying to like tire myself out a little bit so I would talk slower. So I mean, I have so many questions to ask, but the first question I want to ask you to do is just tell us a little bit about MLK Day. Tell us a little bit about your position as vice chair and how you are kind of navigating this event.
So I joined Penn State about 3.5 years ago. And that was about 2019 to 2020. I was promoted to vice chair for diversity, equity, and inclusion in the Department of Emergency Medicine. And so I just met a lot of good people through that. And I really, community service is something that I've tried to participate in when I could over the years. But I never had the chance to organize an event. And just kind of throughout 2020, I was, thinking about what I could do to get some of my other physician colleagues out into the community, get to know more about Harrisburg because I moved to Harrisburg and then COVID happened. And so I still felt like I didn't really know much at all. The MLK Day Health Fair and celebration was just an idea. As society started opening back up, I wanted to use the opportunity to participate in a community event, but I actually ended up coming up with this idea, planning it, with the help of colleagues, getting volunteers, all colleagues of mine from Penn State Health. And I met different community leaders. Carl Singleton, shout out, is a huge help with getting me introduced to not only Harrisburg, but really community activism, and helped me make connections so that I could make this health fair go. Last year was the first year. This year is the second year. We plan to do it annually. Mr. and Miss Burnett, who own the community center, have been gracious enough to let us use it now for the second year in a row. And it's such a great place. Lots of space is in the middle of a neighborhood in Allison Hill, lots and lots of houses. So
Yes.
walking distance. So I didn't just want it to be something like Penn State Health comes and teaches you about blood pressure and things like that. I wanted to be able to provide some services like the flu shot this year, some education. This year we're also adding a career exploration table for our older kids who come, like Harrisburg high school seniors, juniors too. And their families really wanted it to be a family event. And then I also wanted to, like I said, get to know more of Harrisburg and really meet people who, do great things. So caterers are musician and DJ, like that's how we met. Just looking for local people of color to help with the event come out. So here we are. Never imagined that it would go off last year, but here I am for a second year. So
That is awesome. I mean, I've heard nothing but great things. I know that the pandemic years are weird years, right? Pandemic years have been strange. So I'm glad that you're getting to do this. So before we go to Lay, I want you to tell us. So you've been at Penn State for a few years, and how's it going? Tell us more about it.
it's going really well. So I've been able to get into a couple of different things. Before I went to Penn State, I worked at a community children's emergency department. And so Penn State is a much bigger place, academic center. And so one of the things I learned quickly is that if you have an interest, you can find somebody who has an interest like you. So starting 2019, I started in April. I still had an infant, my youngest four children at home. And so really wasn't, and then COVID, and it 2019, 2020. So it really wasn't until like the spring of 2020 where I really was able to get involved, particularly with diversity, equity, and inclusion stuff. Penn State is big on that. We have both in the Penn State health system and in the Penn State College of Medicine, we have two different offices that are led by some fabulous Black women who really, help Penn State lead, I think, the area in diversity efforts. And so I've capitalized. I'm an opportunist. I have used any opportunity to meet people, to learn from people. Never thought that I would, be in a position where I could do that. But, it's been fabulous. It just, I think if you want to take the opportunity, take opportunities when they're presented to you, then, life will go much better. So I'm very happy.
That's amazing. Well, thank you for being in the area with us. To me, it's so refreshing to have more Black and Brown medical professionals, experts, and for taking on that role, right, of being the DEI chair, and that's amazing. So the vice chair. So thank you for that, and that taking on that extra service, because it's extra service now. It's not just it's not just a fun side thing. Sometimes it really is additional work. So thank you for that. And so DJ Lay, tell us about your role in everything, and how do you see it from and not necessarily outside perspective, because you're pretty involved, but just from a different perspective, how do you see the day? How do you see the benefits of the community?
Hey, I'm just happy to be here, And again, salute again to Carl Singleton. Yes, he definitely made that connection. Let me see. My camera went out. Let me see. Let me get it back on. 1 second. There we go. So, it's just great. Being from Harrisburg, I'm a Harrisburg native, and grew up half of my life uptown Harrisburg, the other half Allison Hill. So, I mean, it's wonderful. And for Angel to actually orchestrate this all, and this is your third year, you said, because I thought it was
Second.
this year. Second, okay, yeah, because the pandemic, that was kind of the throwaway year. I mean, it's just amazing. So anything I can do, and I'm glad we kind of anteed up on the promo this year. I know last year, we had that snowstorm thrown our way, and it was like year one, after the aftermath of the pandemic. I know it was a little bit, rocky and everything, but I'm definitely here to continue to, help push this forward. I'm honored to be a part, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The commercial's amazing. Dr. Campbell and Dr. Schuster, just thank you again for inviting me back. So, yeah,
So let's
January 16th, 2023. We're almost there. What we about 4 days into the new year?
like literally the New Year's around the corner is just crazy to me. I'm just like, how did this go so fast?
Yeah.
So the other question I have is I know that there has been a lot of like distrust and mistrust in the community surrounding COVID-19. So I see that you'll be offering COVID-19, education on how to stop the spread. What do you say to folks who kind of think, well, the pandemic's over and we don't have to worry about it? Why is it still important to be talking about stopping the spread? Or is it even important to still be talking about that? And what does that look like now going into 2023, almost 4 years since it's all started?
Yeah, so thanks. That's a great question. Definitely COVID is, we're still seeing it. It's still something to be worried about. There are certain populations, especially our more elderly, like to say more experienced adults out there, people who are immunocompromised. And so even one person with COVID is still concerning. We definitely are seeing higher numbers than that. Everybody that I know, I just tell them to, still try to practice the hygiene that we were practicing. So, like the social distancing, using hand sanitizer, things like that. If you are feeling sick, or sometimes COVID just presents with headache and you just don't feel right. Like you might have a little bit of a sore throat, but your stomach might be off. If you are having symptoms like that, stay home. The biggest reason besides worrying about your life is COVID. When people get it, kids are out of school, parents and guardians are out of work. It is very costly, still very costly, I think, to the average family, especially if you are part of the family that gets COVID. But like I said, I have 4 kids still dealing with, the emails home that, your child had a COVID contact. And so, thankfully, I am in a spot where I can, handle the crises. But some people, it's just they can't miss work. Not even talking about they don't want to miss work, but they literally can't, especially around this time of year where things are expensive. We're all like trying to catch up, had that wallet back up. So I recommend still, staying vigilant, still getting your COVID boosters if you haven't gotten vaccinated. I am a definite proponent of vaccinations. Please get vaccinated for COVID. And just as a side note, please get vaccinated for the flu if you haven't, because definitely seeing a lot of flu this year. And we know from years and years with flu that it can also cause serious illness, cause people to be out of work and school. So I just, COVID's still out there. I always say just don't, sometimes some information that you get on, different sites is incorrect. I would just say go with, common sense stuff. You don't want to be sick. It's not, it's not anything laughable. I think we experienced that for 3 years. So please take care of yourself and your families and friends. And
Absolutely. I think one of the things that people don't realize too is that there are still people vaccinated and who were not vaccinated who are still dealing with the effects of COVID. So it's not over as far as, for some people, even though they had a couple of my friends, they were on time number 2 or 3 of COVID. And Some people are long haulers, right? This idea of a long hauler, where they are still dealing with the effects. We actually had coffee with a friend of Basir's a couple days ago, and she was telling us the story of how she suffered really bad hair loss, and that's just not one of the symptoms that people really talk about a lot, and how that hair loss has really caused her to have to treat her hair differently, and she doesn't know if she'll ever get her hair back to that kind of texture again, that she had pre-COVID. So there's a lot of different side effects. I know for me, my back, the strain, I got Omicron in January, and my back hasn't been the same since then. Anything trips off now, my back hurts so bad with Omicron. I'll never forget it. And it just, I wouldn't wish on anyone. And I was vaccinated and boosted by the time I got Omicron. So I was already, so yeah, I really, and exciting. It's interesting news. I don't know if you saw this, but and if you haven't been able to look it up yet, but as I was researching, trying to pull different things together, I saw that at least in hospital professionals, that getting your flu shot also helped protect against severe infection for COVID. Is there anything on the front with that? Anything that we should know?
Not that I have read myself, but it definitely makes sense because with both of those viruses, they really ramp up your immune system as you try to fight off the virus. And so for both of those vaccines, even though you can still get COVID, I did. I was same thing. Got all the vaccines, was boosted, and I had a little mild COVID illness. That still I wouldn't want again. But definitely not some other people, but I would not want it again. But with both the vaccines actually prevent the illness from being as severe as it would if you were not vaccinated. There's great literature. We've had the flu literature for years, same thing with COVID. And so it makes sense to me that if you're, by getting a vaccine, you're telling your immune system, hey, prepare to fight, in case, we see some unwanted guests, that there would be some cross reactivity. So like I said, that is news to me, but it definitely makes sense. Just kind of thinking back to the science of it, and I'm glad to hear it as well. Because it's heartbreaking. I'm telling you, being a physician and seeing how people's lives are just interrupted and or destroyed by either one of those illnesses. I mean, it is really terrible. It's sad, and it's definitely a minority of the cases, but even one person, which we've seen many more than one, but even a single person passing away from like COVID or flu or being seriously ill, having debilitation. I mean, it's heartbreaking when you actually have to sit there in front of somebody and talk with their family members. It is heartbreaking. So that's great news about the vaccine. It makes a lot of sense.
I'm usually reading too far ahead into the future for things. I'm always looking for hope. So I'm always like, oh my! So when I saw the article, I was like, oh, because if you remember a couple years ago, it was like the flu vaccine didn't help at all. There was no correlation back then. But now they're seeing if you're getting the flu vaccine and your COVID vaccine, you're way less likely to get really sick, even if you contract the virus, which is a great thing. I think that's fantastic, like you were saying. So any parting words, anything else you want to, leave us with? I'm really excited. I would love to. Is it okay if we get some volunteers together from YPOC and bring them down to MLK Day?
Absolutely. So everyone is welcome. And even if you're not volunteering, dropping by, bringing friends and families. One of the great things is that MLK Day is a federal holiday. I never skip the chance to point that out. And so kids are off from school. So that's one of the reasons. Not just in MLK's name, was enough alone, but also it's a day where kids are not in school. Some people are off from work. So, please come down, enjoy great music from my friend Lay here, food from local restaurants, and it's free. It's free. So,
To the public.
please, even if you stop by for 10 seconds.
FREE.
Yes.
I like
Not many
it.
things are free, but this is.
That's right.
We promise. I also wanted to thank Lay.
MLK
Lay was
wouldn't want
a
it any other way.
right.
I'm sure.
That's right.
Lay, I want to
That's
thank
right.
you. Lay's being humble with how much
Oh,
she's helped me this year and last year as well. I met a few different people through Lay, and she definitely brought that celebration vibe to the health fair last year. It's like I said, I didn't want to just be people coming through and we're, saying, here's something you want to teach you about. I wanted to really feel like, almost a part, like not almost like a celebration.
right.
Happy to be out in the community. So I thank you, Dr. Campbell, so much for having me on this show. It's such a pleasure to be on. I
Of
was listening to the first part
course.
of the segment, learning. So I got a show to watch too.
Look, this, hey,
Wait a minute.
Kimeka, this is
Wait a
my
minute.
first time too as a guest, quote unquote. You know that, right? As an interviewed guest.
Oh, I was like, wait a minute, it's not your first time on the show. All right.
Oh
But
yeah, not my first. Well, first time on a virtual show, but then first time as a featured guest. It like no, look, the lady in
I
charge.
know this is like great. So like,
She is just the bomb, isn't she? Like yeah, yeah.
oh, that's so nice. Let me tell you, DJ Layro has made the show so fun. We have her on last show of her. So we have 2 shows every month. We have her on the last show every month. And it is always a blast. Like we have so much fun. It's
Aw.
vibes. I mean, it's real fun. So Dr. Schuster, you got to come in and hang out with us
Yeah.
because that's real fun. And then she just brings a whole different vibe to everything, and it's great. And yeah, she's just a great DJ. DJ Lay also did our holiday party. We had a blast. This is what 2 or 3 times running, two running the show. Juneteenth, like we just use her for as many things as we possibly can. Don't put my birthday on your calendar because I'm turning 42 and I'm about to April sometime in there. Just so yep. So
Young.
and Dr. Schuster, you gotta come hang out with us for that too. Okay, so yeah, it's always a great time. Any last parting words? Anything else you want to say? Actually, don't let me ask you last parting. I'm gonna say last parting words 5 times because I just want to keep talking to you guys.
It's so great. When the vibe marries well, that's how it all becomes, one. So it, definitely you ladies rock. Tons and tons of Black girl magic. I'm very happy to be here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa. Can't pump that
Absolutely.
enough. As we lead out get out of the 2022 era. There goes my camera.
Can you believe it? 2022 is almost done. This one felt like 5 years in one because so many things, like the beginning of the year and what everything looked like to now, looks completely different. It's crazy. So I'm just happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy that we live to tell the story, and I'm always sending up love for those who aren't here with us anymore. There's still people having severe illness and just so many things, and a lot of younger people too. That really makes it hard, I think. Is seeing so many young people develop, really severe illness, particularly from COVID, but just so many other things are out there happening. So, so I'm just glad we're coming to the end. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa. Hanukkah just ended on the 26th. New Year's coming, Festivus for rest of us, 3 Kings Day. I mean, we got everything coming. All right.
Chinese New Year.
So,
all of
Chinese New Year, everybody.
And
Yep, exactly.
MLK Day.
And MLK Day. So thank you, ladies, so much. It's such a pleasure.
Thank you.
And will you come back and hang out with us again? I know DJ Lay will be there.
I would love to. Thank you for the invitation. I told you I'm an opportunist.
That's right. And we'll be playing the commercial for MLK Day. Yep. Yeah, and doctors. She's doing doubles. She's doing overnights. All kinds of stuff. My goodness.
Yes.
But yes, come back and hang out with us again.
Position.
Absolutely. So come hang out with us again. It's gonna be the studio audience is always a vibe. That's okay. So Basir is reminding us that we got to go to last lap. So let's go to a commercial. Thank you, ladies. And I will see you soon.
Yep. Yes. Talk to you again.
Calling all members of the Greater Harrisburg community. We need you. We would love for you to join the YPOC and become a part of our leadership team. Would you like to join our board and get great perks and access in the community? Think about it and let us know. We'd love for you to contact us as soon as possible if you are ready. You can email us at info@ypoc-hbg.org. And we are back. I am so excited to have us all here again. It's really quite interesting that we have. So, Babe's back here. Come on, babe. We're gonna do this part together. You gotta fix the TV. So, did you fix it?
Got it.
There we go. So it has been quite the year.
Absolutely.
You started a new job.
Yep.
I led the Juneteenth thing.
Yep. No, great Juneteenth.
Great Juneteenth. That's coming up again, so keep looking out for that. Our committees are, in full effect, and if you want to be in a Juneteenth committee, come join us. Like, seriously, It was a blast last year. Relatively low drama on our side of the equation. The committees were fun. People are excellent leaders in this community, and I'm thankful for each of you. So I do a thing every year called Take It into 2023 or Leave It in 2022. So let's do our leave it's. What are you leaving in 2022?
Hoping COVID, but
China just released its policy, so
but
I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon.
I'm leaving that. For me personally, I'm leaving stress that I don't have control over.
Period.
So those of y'all who might know, like, I was involved in a lot of stuff, and like I had to stop for like a year. So I might come back, but I don't know because I don't have control over certain things. So I'm not going to stress over it. I'm leaving that in 2021.
Back then, right? Leave it and leave the mourning for it in 2022 because it's been sad. But Basir ran a couple of different working groups in the city and did different things trying to organize people, and it's just a hard way to go. And as an organizer, you get stressed out and you get sad because people don't necessarily they're not all striving for the same goal, unfortunately. So anyway, leaving that in 2022. What else you leaving?
Let's see. Definitely COVID, definitely stressing things about that you don't control. And I'm hoping to leave just wasting time on frivolous arguments.
Yes.
Only good arguments.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tired of having them. Like, there's certain things I like. For those who know me, I gave people until last week. I'll keep giving you until last week, but I think we're way beyond that. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm kind of curious what's going to happen in the new year, but
we'll see. Every year I'm like arguing I'm going to take it into 2020 the next year. I'm like, I'll take that in there. But I really think I've done better. So I'm going to say I'm going to leave most of my arguing in 2022. Thank you, babe. Thank you so much. I'm not. He's right. Because I say that, and then in the next breath, I'm like, she's probably fighting right now. No, babe, I'm looking at my take it's and leave it.
Probably fighting right
and
now.
I post them all online because it's a good way to remind me, even though this is like my 6th Facebook page, I post them all online because it's a good way for me to go back and remind myself of what I said. One year I made a really great hey Nathaniel, blessings to you. Hey Toya, blessings to you. Blessings to also Gaines popped in here. One of my faves, Sonia Marie Judge, was in here too. Thank you so much for tuning in. So here's some of my leave it's.
Also, real quick side note, no H in the name. It's all good though. Appreciate y'all.
People always put an H in Basir's name. That's probably a name somewhere that we don't know.
Absolutely.
So here's some of what I'm leaving in 2022. And this is not just for, like, people think I'm just talking to people, but I'm not. I'm also talking to myself. Not meaning what I say and not saying what I mean. I gotta leave that in 2022. I'm already direct, but I want to be kind with it, but I want to say what I mean. Hi, Adeline. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And I want to do that with intent and with kindness. I need to leave carpet behind. Ever since COVID too, these allergies, horrible. And like we had a cold a couple weeks ago, and then like afterward, the dust was like flaring up the sinuses, horrible. So we're leaving carpet behind. Hard floors and washable rugs. This is one of my favorite ones. Sometimes you don't know peace until someone gives you the blessing of exiting your life. It is the lack of anxiety for me, leaving those folks in 2022 and not pining over them when they leave. I'm also learning more each day to curtail on whose behalf I become offended, right? Because I like to get offended for a lot of people. I'm leaving that in 2022. I'm going to focus my energy and take on the fights that really matter. Some people try to get close to you to keep tabs. They really don't believe in you. You know who they are. Leave them in 2022. Talking to myself. Being defeated by my mistakes. Leaving that in 2022. Also, I'm leaving in 2022 people who don't read me kindly on purpose. This is something that has been resonating with me for a couple of weeks. Dealing with folks in the community. Like, people read Black women so harshly. I'm leaving folks behind who don't read me kindly. And that's on purpose, even for other Black folks, because we've internalized white supremacy to such a high degree that we read each other so harshly and don't give each other grace, leaving all that behind, not taking that with me. And that goes into my next one. Even if there is some truth to it, don't internalize what they say. Some of us love to exaggerate. Leave that shit in 2022, okay? Again, read people kinder. This one was a little bit of a hateration, but some people are not funny. You can't even consistently motivate the people who do support you. Leave that shit in 2022. And really and truly is this. Y'all think misogyny, internalized racism, colorism, fat shaming, core shaming, y'all think that shit is funny and it's really not. Like, don't do that. You have to punch down. If you have to punch down, you think being biphobic and homophobic and transphobic, y'all think that shit's hilarious, and it's fucking not. So don't do that. Leaving that in 2022. Like, for the 100th time, I think I left it in 2019, honestly. But, here we are. Also, folks can't read your mind or mine. We need to speak up, and we aren't people can't be responsible for what we can't communicate. And if you can't communicate, go to therapy. Learn some tools on how to do that. Therapy be doing the things. And then these couple ones today were this is for the community. Why do you want him so bad if he wants all the things that you are not? Like, sis, somebody will want you for you. Leave that nigga in 2022. Okay? Next. If she's a materialistic gold digger and you trying to step to her with no materials or gold, why? Why is that? Like, you approach her. Leave that in 2022. And that's it. That's what I'm leaving. All right. Now for what I'm taking. I am taking a lot of great things. I'm taking my husband. Absolutely. Here he is. Yes. Leave and put in the chat. I love it. Put in here what you're leaving. Leaving, Toya says, leaving, making excuses for people who are not. Woo! That's a big one. That's a good one. That's a really big one. Because we have a tendency when people don't show up for us, like, oh, they're busy. Oh, they're, well, they will next time. And then they don't next time. And we grow this kind of exterior difficultness where we keep, what's the word for this? I'm trying not to like be too specific, but we grow this hard shell where we start to trust people and we don't remain vulnerable and open. And that's a delicate balancing act that you have to strike. I love that leaving. I love that. So if you have things you're leaving, put it in the chat. Thank you, Toya, for participating with that. Babe, what you taking into 2023?
Definitely therapy.
Yes.
Definitely helped. I definitely went on that journey. Just good. I mean, you obviously. Yeah. That trying to reconnecting with friends. As this year has ended, I've had a chance to like actually connect with close friends in person. So again, right? Like after these years, like it's been good. Yeah. So, and I think it's selective. Like, I've been able to, with the pandemic, like I didn't mind the little, a little break from some people, but now there's some people I'm like, hey,
come on
I
back.
kind of miss y'all.
Yeah.
So like really reconnecting with some of those friends in person.
Yeah. We
you
got
know.
to spend time with some of our best friends in the last couple of months.
Yeah.
That's been great seeing them. And shout out to Brandy, shout out to Larry, shout out to Jason, Edwin. Who else we hung out with?
Becky,
Yep.
Aaron.
Yep.
Like we're about to hang out with Andrea.
Yeah.
So it's
So
good.
all of our friends. Yeah.
So definitely taking in self-care of all sorts. Definitely doing that, making sure that you know, that you know, we work hard, play hard, right?
Absolutely right. Let's see what some stuff. Somebody, Adeline says she is taking credit for her projects, complete or otherwise. Period.
Oh, absolutely.
I love it. Josh says, I am loving myself more in 2023. I'm leaving my own self now. Yes.
Yes. Positive talk. That is because we there's so much critique that happens. There's so much self-doubt. Especially in this world where so many people who are mediocre are getting away with things, right? We had so many stories that we didn't even dive into, like, you know, the stories that are in the big news of like mediocre Elon Musk and mediocre Mark Zuckerberg.
I don't like talking his
all of this mediocrity, you know, all of these people who are seen as wealthy and seen as like, you know, oh, they're so great. No, they're not. They're not.
What did Michelle Obama say? She said she has been to the mountaintop and they don't know what they're doing.
They really don't.
That's a direct quote, okay?
And that's something I want to make sure I share and let people know. Like I try to tell people all the time. I try to tell this one, like you're smarter than 90% of the people out there, especially these white guys in charge. You know, but then you know, it's tears down, right? You know, black guys, come on, man, like. Sometimes you guys are a little bit too aggressive for the level of knowledge that you have over certain situations. That's all I'm saying, you know. And I'll throw shade everywhere. Like it's like everybody, like old black women, y'all are next on my list.
Lord, y'all broke his heart. Y'all broke his heart.
Y'all be thinking you know everything, or you be doubting generations, and y'all be doing the same silly things over and over again.
Y'all broke his heart.
And you know, we put your faith in you and maybe elect you in positions of power, and you disappoint us. You know.
Oh, is that what happened?
I'm not saying anything specifically.
Anyway,
but that's what I'm leaving all that behind.
Yes,
I'm letting people know, like, listen, we bringing in leadership, bringing in empowerment, letting people know their power, letting people know, you know, the tools to change are our own, and we have the ability to do 100%. So
Nathaniel says, in life, we as people always start things, but I realized that once I finished something that I started, it motivated me to do better and to finish things more, even if it takes more time. For real. I love that. Toya says, taking healthy no's. Yes. Healthy no's. We're going to take the healthy no's into 2023. You know what I learned about healthy no? It actually keeps you healthy.
Absolutely.
Like literally, like one of the things that I didn't realize until I've gotten this time to kind of like just sit the hell down and not do as much stuff is that, and I'll share this with you guys, like I was developing a really bad thyroid eye issue. And my eye has been bulging. Like my eyes have always been big, but one was getting bigger than the other. And I was stressed to the high heavens. My neck was hurting, all this stuff. And it's because I was taking on too much stuff and taking on too many, internalizing so many issues, right? So not just saying no to taking on more things, but also saying no to internalizing problems that are not mine, right? And also saying no to, you know, negative self-talk, saying those healthy no's. I love a healthy no. That's such a great qualifier. A healthy no. Because sometimes I just be like, well, like for this morning when I was working out, and shout out to Claudie, Capital Punishment Boxing Club. He was like, all right, you're gonna do preacher curls or something. I forgot what he calls them. And I was like, no, that's not a healthy no, because I'm there to work out. but I did them. But, you know, saying yes to working out, saying yes to keeping myself healthy, saying yes to strengthening my muscles, saying yes to sleeping and taking naps, and staying in the house a little bit more. Like COVID did teach me the lesson. I was way less stressed. And it was funny, going into the stressful spaces when you were in your little cocoon, it was like the stress was magnified times 10. So saying healthy no's is a great one. So let's see, what else am I taking into 2023? I was listening to NPR today, and Dr. Ariane Miller was on, and she talks about self-care and she's really big in self-care, but she really had a great insight. And she said this, she said, you can't self-care your way out of oppression. Woo! And I said, okay, ma'am, you got us with that one. There's still a lot of work to do around oppression, and throwing self-care at people who are oppressed is not necessarily the way out of that. Langston's very sad that we're still in here, so we're gonna get him.
That's our wrap it up sound.
And I said, yep. And I said, and another one, I said, I refuse to agree with men on much. Men, they give me problems. But when I do, it's my husband, because 99% of the time, he is absolutely correct, and he's right because of this. Basier is he can literally forecast and look so far down the road and see things and literally predict what's going to happen. And it is probably one of the best skills I've ever seen. And so I've learned to listen to him because, I'm very headstrong. I've learned, still not yet, I'm not over there, but I've learned to listen to him more and to really take that insight into consideration when I want to take on the world and shouldn't. Like he's been telling me, even since I left my last job, you have too many jobs, right? Yep. And, I could, from him saying that, I could see history repeating itself again. So I've tried to learn to calm down, take more quality assignments. This one's for the girls. Strong women. The person for you will never ask you to sacrifice your strength. Take that into 2023 with you. If you're strong, be strong. If you command a room, command a room. Shout out to Mayor Sierra Dent of Stilton. If you are a boss and can do the thing, don't let people tell you can't. People poo-poo on strong women, particularly strong women of color, all the time. So take that into 2023 with you. If you are strong, no one who is of any worth to you is going to ask you to sacrifice that to be their friend, to be their lover, to be any of that. And I'm very happy. Thank God for Basir. Y'all don't know. Y'all don't know. It's funny because when you have always had to be strong, when you get with somebody who doesn't require you to like try to change yourself, you actually become softer. It's a weird thing. It's a weird kind of like reverse effect. This one was also for some folks that I know in my life. Glad they are finally claiming you in public this year, friend. Take that into 2023. Good for you. Knowing when to move on. Woo! Taking that into 2023 with me. I want to grow my show, right, babe?
Absolutely.
Get more amazing guests. I really do feel like I'm doing something that I'm destined for. If you planted the seed, water it. When it grows, prune it. I'm taking the pruning into 2023. I'm still demanding the release of every single Black person locked up for marijuana, along with mass expungement. Still taking that into 2023. Making room for the blessings that I say I want. I'm taking that into 2023. And then last but definitely not least, I'm having fun now. I'm relaxing now. I am vacationing now. We're actually going on vacation in 6 weeks, babe. Countdown. Quit that job now. Start that business now. Sleep in now. Lounge now. Live the life that you want now. And that is what I'm taking into 2023. I'm trying to step out on faith, live the life that I want, be the person that I think I'm destined to be now. I want to do that now. What you taking? What else you taking? That's it?
No, I'm taking a lot of stuff. Nathan, Nathaniel, thank you so much.
Oh, that's so nice. I have to say, I love the foundation that you both have with each other, seeing how y'all support each other and build each other up. An example of true power couple. They be saying we're a power couple, but I'm getting more like my husband. I like to stay in the house and just hang out. Hey, baby, what you want to do for New Year's?
I don't know.
Stay in the house. That's what he wants to do. I said, as long as I get to drink champagne, I don't care.
Because she'd be extra social, be like, I'm going out. I'm like, okay. I gotta deal with people now. You don't like going out with me? I gotta deal with people now at work.
You don't like going out with me?
You be like, so if anyone watches Kimeka, she'll just go. She doesn't have to worry about like moving through people, bumping into people, because she just. So I'm like there, and then she'll just like cut through, and I'm just like.
I lost her.
I'm gonna go get a drink. I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna like purview the situation. Yeah. Then she'd be like, oh, like stuff just be happening, fight people, me get in the fights, and she's just like la la la.
And he sees it all.
Nope.
He can see everything.
I'd be like, oh, you didn't see that? You almost knocked into that girl's drink, and she was about to fight you, and I'm like,
I saw none of that.
And like none of it. She's just like do. So yeah, no, I don't.
I saw none of it.
I can't.
Okay. So also shout out to Tiana at from Eden Salon who hooked up my little braids today. Very excited. Y'all, the shrinkage is real. Look at this. Ridiculous. And it's gray. Don't even look at that part. What I'm saying. So shout out to her for hooking me up today, getting me in. From Eden Salon is beautiful. Y'all gotta go see them on Lincoln Road, 5300 Parkway Avenue. Shout out to them. Well, I guess that's it, babe.
Yeah.
We did our takings, we did our leavings. We did it all. And this is the last show before 2023.
Yeah. All right. See you in 2023, y'all.
And, you know, as I say at the end of every show, love yourself. Big up yourself. When people can't do it for you, learn to do it for yourself. It's one of the things that got me through. That is Kuji Shagalia, self-determination. When people can't do it for you, do it for yourself. And in 2023, surround yourself with people that can do it for you. Surround yourself with people who are going to lift you up, who are going to help you, that are going to love on you, that are going to, as Julia Mallory says, love on those who love on you and watch it grow, and it will. So I am thankful for you guys. Thank you for helping me have this amazing show. Thank you for everything that you guys have done to lift me up, lift us up. I'm very thankful for this community. And, you know, all jokes aside, I really am very honored to, you know, share this platform with all of you. So I'll see you later.